Hello there gang, Devere here with another past blast, playing a little bit of AQUANOX, released back in 2001. So let's have a quick look at what we get in our options, our setup file here. We'll come back to controls in a little moment. So system, this is our video options, a fairly decent amount. You'd also be happy to see at least semi-modern resolutions. It supports 1080. Whether it does 4K, I could not say. We also have a couple of audio options, just your typical volume sliders, and finally network. Because of course, the game did have multiplayer, and that's just your target ID, off or on, and you're probably going to want it on. So yes, multiplayer was of course GameSpy servers, which are long gone, so best to count this really as single player. And of course I've only done half a job. I was going to talk about the controls. So controls, right, wow. It's a bit of a mess setting this up, in all honesty. I am playing with the Xbox controller, and I should explain for why when we get in game. You sort of have to set yourself up through different, these are your view directions, so it would be your left mouse. So I've set that up, as you can see there, with a joystick X axis for left and right, and then the up and down, so that's basically my left stick. And with some very low sensitivities. So let's go back there, and then there's your direction of movement. This is of course a 6 degrees of freedom game, 6 DOF. So of course you have, again, a very bizarre way of setting things up. This is where you would set your just keys, and if you had to hit more, and there you can assign your joystick axes or your controller axes. So we have forward and back, which I've got on the triggers. The direction movement left and right, so I've got that on the right stick, left and right, and finally movement up and down, which I've also got assigned to the right thumb stick, but just left and right, up and down and left and right, obviously. And again, low sensitivities. So yeah, it's a very messy system, because even once you finally set all that up, you've still got to make sure you turn your joystick on here. You won't get your joystick controls in game. So yes, and then your weapon configs. There's not a lot there, luckily. So I've got it for mouse and controller, because you will still need both, and I should explain why once we get into the game itself. So content wise, we have our single player campaign, our story here, but you do have a sort of instant fight mode with a few different little mission types. So there's some extra content there, although it's not particularly in depth. So what I should do is I shall load a game from earlier on, just to skip all the massive introduction and the first couple of quiet missions. So let's dive on with this one. So this is of course, as you can guess, set underwater in the far future. And at the moment, this is like a Vespucci station is where we're at. So there's a shop where you can buy different weapon types as they become available, as well as different torpedo types. Now I actually do need a couple of those. I'll have 4 for the time being. Actually I'll have 6. You can have different types as well to cycle through, so I'll grab a couple of those. Oh, and I need a buzzer. Those are like decoys, in case anyone fires a torpedo at you. And that's all we'll need at the moment. So I've not got a lot of money, of course, and I've already got one of those fitted. So then you can equip your ship. At the moment we've got the starter ship, of course. So I obviously want to put my torpedoes. Oops, that's the maximum amount for this one, of course it is. So I'll just take 4 of those. My buzzers, I'll stick those on. Generator's already fitted. That's just for recharging your projectile weapons and that kind of thing. I haven't got a repair kit, not that I've ever figured out how to make them work half the time. And no specials. So we're done there. Here's where you can acquire different ships as you go, and of course compare all your different stats. Different ships are good for different things. And dock is obviously not available yet, and I'll explain why that is. And then finally, this is where you load, save, and set your difficulty level. I am playing at the moment on normal. So what we have to do to get our missions now, despite what the store page tries to imply, it's quite a big. It gives a hint that there might be some sort of open world to it. There's not. This is very much a linear game. So we need to talk to people at Vespucci Station, and at least one of these. He'll give me some money, I know that much.
So what did I tell you? A simple job.
Careful. There's a mini railgun in my pocket. It'll blow 100 tight.
Okay.
Take me.
Okay. It's done.
There we go. I'm going to have to skip a lot of this. We'll be here for half an hour of a video just listening to them. A lot of dialogue, a lot of voice actors. I will let you listen to some of them though, because the voice acting quality and the dialogue in itself is pretty variable. Maybe it's this girl we need to chat to.
Light, Leonie. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
I think they seasoned the steak with Epsilon taste intensifier. It's making my neck tight and burning my nerves.
Well, everything good, hasn't it?
Ah, well.
Yes.
What's happening?
Nothing.
And this is the service girl. So, waitress.
How's the Galapagos crab?
Excellent. We seasoned it with a touch of orchid from the cultivation domes of floating Bombay.
Are you kidding? Do people wait to eat it before they start throwing up?
If you prefer vomiting during your meal, sir, I recommend the shark intestine sandwich at the Junta Junta.
Yeah. There's a lot of random dialogue in this game, that's for sure.
Are you Shakti? Frog said I should talk to you.
Shh. About the stolen super gas.
Yeah, what can you tell me?
When we began loading the junk ship, one of the administrators came over. Told me to take
Deadeye, did you know the mid-Atlantic ridge is the origin of the oceans? The Earth breaks in half there, ejecting loads of magma.
Pico, you have too much.
Nothing.
Speaking of magma, how's your aquarium tsunami booster here?
Great. As long as you don't plan on being able to father children.
Great. Make it a double.
Yeah, you get.
The people are right.
This is a freeway conversation.
ELF waves actually penetrate the globe, which is why they're so useful for underwater communications.
Oh, please, Terry. There's no proof. You're just panicking. They use ELF all over Aqua because it works.
Ridiculous. We've got synaptic communication.
Okay, you two.
Ah, another one's popped up.
Well, looky here. You're Deadeye Flint, aren't you? I knew you from the data channels. Sit down. I'm Freeman.
Funny name.
Oh, no. I didn't say that was my name. So tell me, what kind of ship does a hot shot like you navigate?
Interesting.
Believe me.
Flint, enough with the chatting. We're on alert.
And I'm after the slime ball who stole my ship.
Come on. A Terra unit of the Pirate Scouts is attacking our ELF station. We can't afford a communication breakdown. When you're done, head for Magellan.
Right, we finally got our mission. Yeah, dialogue heavy. I mean, where credit's due. There's a lot of it and a lot of voice acted. So, you know, for the time, it's, as you've heard, and these are actually some of the better voice actors that are in the game. So now we can go to the dock, which basically lets us go off and do our mission. So next mission, ELF Terror. Mission objectives: fight pirate scouts, protect ELF stations. Important. Keep track of time. Listen carefully to ELF messages. So let's go. At least the loading times are quite fast.
The easiest way to find the ELF communication station is to follow the ELF cables on the ocean floor. Vespucci is a bit impatient. They're worried about their ELF station.
So you'll notice I've got two wingmen. Not you can do anything with them. We ain't got to hunt these ones down. So yes, even though I'm using my controller, this is the biggest problem for this game, is the controls. Even with them set up, there's just something something off kilter with how things respond. The mouse is even worse than the controller. It's just way too fast, even with everything scaled down. It's something odd like with the scaling or like this acceleration going on. Now, maybe they were trying to add a sort of mass momentum effect, because obviously this is a submarine under the water, so maybe that's what they were going for.
Follow the marked object.
So now we can start firing. But yeah, I've no idea where them wingmen came from. They just randomly turned up on mission. There was more talking and more talking as to why I've got them. It's just where's my missiles gone? There we go. Oh, there's another drifter. Obviously on the low-level ship with low-level weapons, but these are low-level enemies. So as you can see, the combat can be quite tanky. The AI is not the greatest. It really is the controls that are really, there's definitely something really quite janky about them. And being a 6-degree game, of course, I can go down or I can go up, strafing left and right. But really, despite the submarine pretensions and maybe the sort of hints of being a bit of a Descent-styled game, this really is more, it wants to be a shooter. The submarine side of it, aircraft-wise, I mean, you can't do a loop or anything like that. Oh, and in case you're wondering, you can't go to the surface. This is thousands of years in the future. Usual story. The world outside, you know, has all been destroyed by nuclear war and chemicals and whatever. So everyone's now living under the sea. And yeah, that typical kind of thing. So he just really wants to sit there and go face to face with you. And there was a nuclear winter, so all the sea's basically frozen over now, and there's a fixed crust above that, meaning we can never go back to the surface. Well, that's what you get from the story, because this is, despite the name AQUANOX, this is actually the second part of a game. It's originally a different game called the Archimedean Dynasty. It was previous to this, but that was actually the first part. That's why the introduction's so long. It just sort of tries to bring you up to speed.
Flint, the freighter is sending a distress signal, but the communication center is more important.
This little radar thing at the bottom's quite good. That's a communication center. I think the freighter was over here somewhere. But as you can see, the UI is fairly basic at best as well. So despite their pretensions, this is definitely really more of a shooter than it is anything else. Oh, a DLF station there. And you also notice my wingmen. Now they're attacking there. Very bizarre. You've got no way of controlling them, of course. They'll either, sometimes they'll absolutely wipe everything out. Other times they'll just kind of float around and do not a lot. And they don't seem to be constrained with ammunition counts like you do. Oh, no, don't mind me. So yeah, this one has not aged very well, in all honesty. And your radar's basic at best. And AI issues here, but the control issues are the biggest. And you do get the more fast and fluid ships. It can be very hard to keep track of things just because of... You're just kind of basically going around in circles with each other. Top left is his health, the targeted creature. Targeted creature. You targeted enemy, submarine, submersible, spaceship. So they might now, my AI wingmen are absolutely, or winged ladies I should say, are absolutely destroying things. Where's our next one? I don't want to hear that station, do I? Yeah, there's not really a direct, there's no other more in-depth targeting. or scrolling through different type targets. It's just kind of whatever is there closest. And there we go, just to get them out of my face. Oh, there's another one there. Let's try and use some of these 6 degrees of freedom we have. Oh, where's it gone? Oh, it's because I forgot to retarget mine. My bad in that case. Right, yeah, as you can see, this is not the deepest of combat. So, yeah, it's not aged brilliantly. I mean, it's not terrible, apart from the control and setting up your controls. But it's certainly not great. I would actually say Archimedean.
Got a new order. Back to the ELF knot. They really don't know what they want.
Yeah, whether it's Archimedean Dynasty or AQUANOX 2. But this, I mean, the visuals aren't bad for the age of the game, in all honesty. And a little tip: you can turn a lot of this stuff off in the graphics if you want to make it easier to see and find things. I think it adds to the ambience. The music, not my cup of tea. Let's see if we can just try to get a gentle wind up shot on him. It's very hard. Target. Oh, he's shots for nothing, got him. So yeah, it's there are some more funky weapons later on as well, and some specials as well. As I say, it's one of these games. It's not terrible, but yeah, at the same time, it really kind of shown its age in a lot of different ways. You know, even though I'm using a controller, you still need to use your keyboard to navigate your menus, or double tap S to stop your engines. It's just more frustrating. I think that's the mainly thing. It's more frustrating than it needs to be. There's also a fair number later on of escort missions. Be warned, because we know how fun they are. So there we go. I mean, that's basically the combat in the game. So it's definitely showing its age in a lot of ways. I kind of like the visuals. The underwater is nice. It definitely kind of wants to be Descent meets Quake. Really, in honesty. But of course, we shall try and get to look at the other games in the series on this channel at some point in the future. So yeah, that would be my overall conclusion. It's not terrible.
Well done. Although you took your sweet time about it.
Because of this death trap you offered so generously.
Relax. I'm uploading your credits. And now...
Count me in, Flint. I'm gonna oil my torpedo tubes right away.
She was one of our wing ladies. And so, yeah, and it is very linear, despite what the game tries to imply through the store page. But it's not terrible. It's definitely, but it's definitely rough now. Perhaps one for the more dedicated retro gamer, or if you really love the idea of sub-combat. Although, again, it's not really. It's not a flight sim. It's not an FPS. It's a strange place in between. But it's not the worst game out there, not by any stretch of the imagination. So, yeah, it's just one of those. It would take a dedicated player and perhaps with a bit of patience to get the most out of it these days, because those controls are somewhat janky. And the fact it lacks advanced targeting, you can't command your wingmen, or wing ladies as it goes. Yeah, a lot of missed opportunities as well. So anyway, gang, we'll conclude our dealings here. Thanks very much for taking the time to watch the video. Hopefully you found it useful and entertaining in some way. And as ever, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to let me know you're alive. And I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.